Hi, welcome to Marquis Presents Your Key to Healthy Living. I'm your host, Karen Holloran, and I am the Community Liaison for Marquis Senior Health. Today I have with me Dr. Peipei Wishnow. She's a scientist and she's done a lot of studying with Alzheimer's and dementia, and it's so nice to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Karen, for inviting me here.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background. You came from China, is that correct?
Yes, I did. I came to United States to study biochemistry and got my PhD in City University of New York, and then went on MIT and Caltech for my postdoc work. Wow. And thereafter I worked in pharmaceutical companies for multiple years before I founded my own company, Interceuticals. The reason I did that because I came from a family that has 3 generations of healthcare professionals. My grandfather was a very well-respected herbalist, wow. And my parents both are healthcare professionals. And I believe that traditional Chinese medicine has a lot to contribute to the world health system, and also the Western medical treatment approach also have a lot to contribute because of the quality controls and the science and research. So I want to combine both, right. and provide beneficial products and help to people's health.
That's fantastic. And I think you told me that your mom played a big role in all of this research and going the way that you did, correct?
Absolutely. My mom is now 93.
Wow.
And my father is 95. Actually, he's a Qigong master. And my mom...
And they're still in China?
Yes, they live in assisted living. And my mom started to show cognitive decline, very clear sign of a decline, when she was 75. And the first thing we noticed that she started to have some illusions about my father had an affair with all these women. Any woman came into sight, right. And she would accuse my father had affair. Oh, and she became very violent as well. So it's very difficult for my father to deal with her and find a care giver for themselves.
Right. Well, maybe we could step back a little bit and we could talk about what is the difference between brain and memory? Because they're 2 separate things. We have the brain, and in the brain is the memory.
Oh, of course. So let me just add a little bit more on of why my mother's situation had me really worried. Is that my mother, because of my mother's situation, I'm very worried about me getting into this direction, right. As well. So just several years ago, I noticed that I have experienced some momentary difficulties in the memory. For example, I forgot the key enter my office, so right. I get really kind of worried and start to dig into this research. So answer your question about what is memory and what is the brain. Sorry. The brain is a very complicated organ and living in the skull of our head.
Like a huge computer for us.
Exactly, huge computer, and it's a gazillion of the neurons and connections. And it's only about 2% of our body weight, but consume up to 20% of blood circulation. Oh, wow. So it needs a lot of nutrition. And so brain has a lot of defined regions, for example, in the front, in the back, right. In the right, left. And memory is only one of the very specific function of the brain. Brain has a cognitive function-wise, have the memory and the multitasking, and also the imagination and decision-making. All those activities are the cognitive function of the brain. So memory is only one of them.
Memory is just one part.
Yeah.
So then we talk about, there's all these different topics that come up, and people get confused because there's dementia and then there's Alzheimer's. Let's talk a little bit about that. From what I understand, dementia, there are hundreds of them. It's just the umbrella, and Alzheimer's is just one. Is that correct?
You're very, very much on the target. The dementia is the disease that caused by the damages in the brain, and depends on which area the brain is and the damage is. So the Alzheimer disease is one of the major form of dementia. Probably about 60 to 70% of dementia is characterized as Alzheimer's disease, and it is featured by the plaques and precipitations. And then there will be other forms of the like a vascular type of dementia, and also Lewy body dementia.
Right, because I think there's like 200 that they say of different types of dementia that are going on, that it's like the umbrella, just like with cancer, and then you have all the different types.
Yes, there's a lot of different the pathological differences, and so that's how they classify different kind of dementia. You're right, but the major form is Alzheimer's disease. Yes.
So as we get older, our brain is aging, and what does that mean? What happens as our brain ages?
It's an excellent question. So let me just show you the line. So what happens is that as we age, in a normal aging condition, just like our skins get wrinkled and everything, so our memory as well start to show gradual decline. Just like where is my cell phone? Where is my key? Right? So where's my pocket? So those are the natural decline of these the cognitive function. However, there is other lines which is a little bit different from the normal decline. So that the problematic curve is divided by 3 stages. One stage is called preclinical, and another stage is called the preclinical, and then MCI and dementia. Let me explain what is
preclinical
and MCI and dementia. So what is that difference? The preclinical means that you yourself, the owner of your brain, have already started to sense, oh, I'm kind of having some kind of memory issues. Okay, I forgot this, forgot that, more forgetful than 2 years ago, for example. But when you see the doctor cannot diagnose. They cannot detect anything by the current methodology. So it's called preclinical. So you yourself feel it, but your doctor cannot detect it. So that's preclinical. So in the next stage, and then if your cognitive symptoms start to develop further, you see your doctor. At this time, the doctor can diagnose by a panel of neurological assessment, or by the MRIs, or by the PET scan, etc. So in this case, they diagnose you as mild cognitive impairment, so abbreviated MCI.
Okay.
So the first phase also called SCI, which means subjective cognitive impairment, but your doctor cannot tell.
So when would they have somebody get some of these like PET scans and all of this? When do you get to the second level? What has happened to have somebody get to that point?
But even if in the preclinical phase, people would ask a doctor to check it. But the doctor just cannot tell. The PET scan results will be showing the same. So they won't be able to tell the difference. So the MCI, that's where that you will notice that much more decline in your cognitive function, and then the last phase is the dementia. So the differences between the MCI versus the dementia, by the clinical definition, is that whether you are able to live independently, or you have to have somebody to take care of you.
Right. So there's a lot that can be done between those 2 stages.
Then. Exactly. What we really don't want is to get to the dementia phase. We want to deal with the preclinical, and we want to deal with the MCI. So we try to slow down that process and become as normal as possible.
Right. Because at this point, unfortunately, there is not a cure. Hopefully there will be a cure, but whatever we can do to slow down that process and stop, halt some of this mild cognitive impairment, that's fantastic.
That is the point. And I have a friend on several the facilities and taking care of the people with those memory issues. And she just told me that any tools available to help people should be on the table. Right. She said, because I see those people every day, it's just so painful and it's so costly.
Right.
Yes.
So there are risk factors with dementia. What would some of the risk factors be? Is it demographics? Is it male, female? Is it where you live? What do you see as being some of the...
Excellent question. The number one risk factor is aging. But we cannot say
can't
that.
Stop that, right?
And that's a good thing, right? People live longer, and instead of living at 40 years, and that's it, and we're now approaching to 78 or 79. That's a good thing. But eventually, we're going to even live to even longer. But that factor is a very big risk factor. But we acknowledge that, we celebrate that. We don't want to touch that. But the series are the two major areas my research show. One is the very prevalent, saying that it is for the beta amyloid and the tau protein precipitation in your brain, causing those kind of plaques and then kill your neurons. Okay, that's one theory. But I'm not quite convinced that's the theory, because the autopsy is showing that even if some people having those kind of precipitations, plaques, they lived a very normal life until the end, in the 80s, 90s, even 100s. So that does not convince me that a plaque is the issue. What I believe, there's another school of the cutting edge study showing that inflammation, chronic brain inflammation, is one of the very big risk factor. I more believe in this theory, because there is, when people getting older, the inflammation in the brain and getting more serious.
So what's causing the inflammation? Is it food? Is it environment? Is it chemicals?
You ask a lot of good questions. Okay, so in broad sense, there are two categories. One is infectious factor. For example, the virus.
Yes.
Okay, the bacteria, when you get those kind of infections, they can get into your brain. And one thing is very common now is mold.
Oh, mold.
Yes, mold is a very big problem. Can go through your nose, go to your mouth, get in your brain, okay? So those are the infectious factors. Okay, we should try to avoid those factors. And if you have mold, try to treat them and do all those detoxifications to remove this. And another category is non-infectious factors. So the example is sugar. If you eat a lot of sugar, it causes a lot of inflammation in your body and will impact on the brain. And also the gluten. Gluten could disturb your gut, causing leaky gut. When you have the leaky gut, we have lots of bacteria, bad and good, in our gut. So when the gut become leaky, all these bacteria or the toxins from the bacteria can get into the blood and go into your brain. So all those things were causing the inflammation, chronic inflammation in the brain. So there is two classes. One is infectious and one is non-infectious.
Right.
Yes.
So getting to dietary, definitely limiting sugar. We can't say totally eliminate it. Yeah. People are going to still have a little bit of sugar, but maybe placing some limits on that.
Yes.
What about eating organically? Does that have anything to do with it?
Organic is also very good, because you don't want to have the pesticides and also the other things impact on your in your gut. That's also important. Yeah. Okay. And exercise, of course, would help
with that.
And yes.
So what causes brain chronic inflammation?
No, we talked about the factors. Okay, so when those factors, the infectious or non-infectious factors come to the brain, the brain sense there is something is invading me. Okay, so they generate the defense mechanism. So the school of thought is that beta amyloids are the ones that the brain generate as a defense mechanism to fend off the infection.
I see.
But eventually, if you have constant infection in the chronic infection in the brain, so they generate more and more those beta amyloids, eventually it's going to generate damage to your brain.
Right. So I know you've done a lot of research on that, and so that I think this is helping with some of these. To answer some of these questions, your research has helped with this?
Yes. So what we really, the question is that we know that with aging there is a cognitive decline. We know there is a lot of factors that would influence and increase the inflammation in the brain when we age. The question is, what can we do? That is the most important question. And we do everything we did for our heart health, right? They eat right, exercise, and sleep well, all those good. But the brain has different things, the requirement. Brain needs have something that can pass through the brain-blood barrier in order to get in the brain and quench these inflammation. So there is recently there is a groundbreaking study, which I really get really excited that can shed light to see what kind of things we can do for ourselves. Okay.
Where did the study come out of?
Yeah, this study is in the UCLA in the West Coast, and Dr. Gary Small is the leading author, and also he's the director of the Longevity Center in the UCLA, and they did a 5-year-long study, and the study itself is 18 months. They use a double-blind, placebo-controlled study in people non-demented. Non-demented means normal and people with MCI. So the way they did it, they use one very interesting natural supplement, natural component called the curcumin. Curcumin, have you heard about turmeric?
Turmeric,
yes. Turmeric is the yellow component root in the yellow curry. So the turmeric historically has a lot of benefits for the anti-inflammatory benefits and antioxidative benefit to the body, and being used in India and China for thousands of years. Okay. However, when you take the turmeric, and people always also notice that the Indian people eating those yellow curry more often has less chance, 4.4 times less chance of the getting dementia than the United States.
And I think they live longer also.
Yes. So the point is that what happened to this turmeric? So scientists, unless you want to eat turmeric every day, 3 times a day.
It has been a lot in the news. I have seen a lot and read a lot about it lately, about being something that could be helpful.
Yes. So what happened is that scientists know that you cannot take eating curry all the time. So they extracted the active compound from turmeric, which is called curcumin.
Okay.
Curcumin is the molecule extracted from turmeric. Which is active compound. So when the turmeric, which is when the curcumin compound put into the pill form for you to take as a supplement, that's easy. However, there's a problem. Curcumin, general and the common curcumin, cannot be absorbed easily by your body. So basically, depends on where you read it, which article you read it, but 95 to 99% of these, the curcumin will be eliminated.
Oh. So it's not going to be absorbed in the bloodstream. It won't be.
It would enrich your toilet.
Okay. That's a nice way of putting it.
That's right. So what happened is that the compound that turmeric, the curcumin used in the UCLA study is a special kind of formulated curcumin. It's called the serocurcumin that use a patented nanotechnology and treat this molecule. So the curcumin molecule is about 100 times smaller than the regular curcumin. So when you take those kind of a curcumin, smaller molecule can be absorbed into your body, bloodstream very quickly, and also can pass through the brain-blood barrier. That's where you get your brain can do its magic, can help your brain to quench the chronic inflammation. So what happened is that UCLA's study, they did use this curcumin, and treated twice a day, 90 milligrams twice a day for 18 months. And they also assessed these subjects, study participants, and with various neurological assays, and before and after, and also used a PET scan to check their brain.
Right.
Here is the results. After 18 months, long-term memory, short-term memory, recalls, and visual learning, and mood all improved.
Wow. That's a great finding.
Significantly improved. This is incredible. And also, the most striking thing is that the PET scan showing that the treated group, the brain, is much healthier in the areas related to the memory and the mood.
Wow.
The control group does not have that benefit. So the thumbnail is that this natural compound of curcumin indeed can help the brain to become healthier, and can improve the memory, long-term, short-term, and also can improve the mood.
That's fantastic.
That is, and also it is natural.
Right, right.
So it is based upon these thousands of these the published research papers, the mechanism of the curcumin can help the brain, can help the tissue, is insert the anti-inflammatory benefits and also anti-oxidative stress. So these are the two very important functions of the curcumin.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know you found some personal results from that too.
Yes. So what happened is that, as I said to you before, I'm worried about my mother and also worried myself.
Right.
And I have lots of friends, either their parents or themselves are worried about it. So when I did the study, and our company actually formulated the better memory formula for people can follow the UCLA's regimen and take it for the benefit. So I want to test it.
Right.
So I tested it on myself, and my multitasking benefit is ability is improved much better.
That's
and
great.
I have seasonal affected depression, sad.
Right.
That was diminished much less.
Great.
And I have a friend taking the product and really showed the differences, and I have my mother tried it. So I said, what's the heck? That it's natural, that it won't hurt, and just sent to my mother. Guess what? It is completely out of my expectation.
You showed me that.
Yes, my mother, after 6 months, she learned a new poem. Wow. And with a little bit prompting, she recited it to me 50 to 60%.
That's great.
And in about 8 months into it, she could recite to me the whole poem without any prompting. And I recorded it as my treasure.
That's fantastic.
And then last month that my brother went to visit my mother, and my brother told me that the minute he went enter into the room, my mother recognized him.
And she hadn't before.
She hasn't been able to recognize him 3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
I was just beyond myself.
Right.
I could not believe this. This because the study was conducted on the normal and mild cognitive impaired people. I didn't expect that my mother could benefit from it, and it was just amazing. So I was just like speechless.
Right. Those are some pretty amazing results.
It is amazing, and I'm just saying to people and to your audience, to people, and do whatever you do to protect your brain in a way as early as you can, because the consequences is too painful.
Right.
And we know that the exercise and have a healthy lifestyle is very good, very helpful to reduce the inflammation systematically to protect your heart, protect your brain in general. However, for the brain, in order to help to reduce the chronic inflammation, you need to do something extra because the brain-blood barrier.
Right.
So the sterocumine, curcumin, indeed can help to cross the brain-blood barrier and help your brain.
That's fantastic. So what is the name of the product that you actually have come up with?
Okay, so the product's called Interceuticals Better Memory.
Interceuticals Better
Memory, and Better Memory, and you can actually find on our website called BeBetterNow.com.
So BeBetterNow.com, if anyone would like to check that out.
And we also have an 800
The 800
number.
phone number. So the 800 phone number is 1-888-686-2698. So somebody could call up and find out more information about the product. It sounds like a really great, step in the right direction.
Yes, so as my friends say that at this stage, we want to put all these tools on the table that help people to do something extra.
Right.
Because what I felt is, oh, look, that I've been eating right, I've been doing exercise, I've been doing all this, but I'm still scared.
Right.
You see?
Right.
I want something that extra
Something
I can
to be
help.
proactive
Yes,
and try and do yourself.
We understand the ultimate health is in the prevention.
Right.
Yes.
Really,
So
absolutely
yes, yeah. So we actually have a little more information for your audience. We have another formulation is called Better Memory PM.
Okay.
What is that do is to promote better sleep.
Oh, nice.
And protect your mitochondria. Mitochondria, it is the power plant in your cells, in your body.
Right.
And when we age and the mitochondrial numbers and the function decline, so it is very important to protect the mitochondria in your body. So we have the companion product called Better Memory PM for you to take and as a combo formula. And my mother's taking like that. I myself taking like that.
Fantastic.
And it really helps. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for all the great information today. I'd really like to thank you for coming on the show. I know that the listeners really probably enjoyed and got a lot out of our interview today. And if you would like more information, you can find it at the end of the show, but it's Interceuticals Better Memory, and it's BeBetterNow.com, and the phone number is 888-686-2698 if you would like some more information. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you for coming on the show, Dr. Peipei.
Thank you.